Okita-san, daishori. Okita-san, daishori. Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope you're having a nice day. Today is a spicy stream, needless to say. Whole week tends to be pretty spicy, but yeah, especially today. So, we did some good A6 yesterday, but today it's basically an FGO stream still. What we're gonna do is start with the long-awaited, or at least something I've been talking about doing all the time, but you know, never did until now. The command code tier list. Yes, it's finally happening. And maybe after this I'll have a better grasp of the command codes as well, for support reviews on this as well. I did do a lot of research, I wrote down notes, and yeah, it should go fine. I don't expect this to take too long, luckily, because, you know, the servant ones tend to be really, really long, because there's a ton of servants, and, you know, there's way more to talk about servants compared to, like, command codes, so I'm still gonna try my best to talk about all the command codes and hopefully give some examples of good targets as well and whatnot, but mostly it's gonna be like guidelines, if anything, the good old meme. I'm not really gonna say like, oh, you should equip this to this and this one only, and you know, stuff like that, so... But anyway, I'll go through the criteria before we even begin. Not that there's a whole lot to cover with the criteria either, so... yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna start with the command code tier list, and then it's time. OG waifu is back, as you guys might know. Thanksgiving banner is live, and she's the day one banner. I'm talking about Okita, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying to finish the NP5. She is, as many of you guys know, already NP3 for me. So still missing that the 2 copies, but you know. I'm trying to be positive. The one thing that sucks though is that the banner only has 1 rotation though, so you only have 1 day for every servant, you know. So it's either do or die today, or you know, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'm not gonna roll until the NP5 happens. That's never gonna happen. I will stop at some point if it starts to look bad, because you gotta remember that Super Ryan is like a week away as well, so that's also something I want to roll for. But you never know. I'm hoping it's gonna go well. If I fail to finish the NP5 here, then maybe next year then, because she will have a raid up next year too. Cool. So yeah, that's kind of the menu for today. And again, I have no idea how long the tier list will take. I'm guessing less than 2 hours. No matter what, I'm guessing. It could be more, it could be way less, I don't know. And then after that, I'll do the rolls. And if there's some more time and I'm not completely consumed by salt, we might continue to maybe try and finish good A6 from yesterday as well. So there should be at least stuff for the entire day. No worries.
Does she know that we've been together for 7 months? Does she know about the baby?
Oh, that's awkward. Thank you for the 7 months, though, freak. Welcome back to the Gal Gang. Oh yes, now that I'm on the topic of subs, because apparently not everyone reads the memo. Yeah, and in case you didn't know, I am participating in the Genshin Glider Twitch event, so my channel is eligible to give out gliders for 2-month subs, but I will I have to emphasize this. It's only working when I'm streaming Genshin, and I'm streaming Genshin tomorrow. So if you want to get your glider from me, if you have any plans, do it tomorrow, or get it from someone else, because I'm not streaming Genshin today. That is tomorrow. Should be another fun stream anyway, but yeah, because it's pretty funny. I did not expect this to happen, but I already saw some people subscribing between yesterday's stream and today's stream when I was offline, clearly looking to get their gliders, but they, obviously didn't read the full memo that the streamer has to be live under Genshin for it to work. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'll take the free subs. It's cool, but I do feel bad for them. But at the same time, you should read all the you should read the fine print before you try and get your gliders. So yeah, it is what it is. I assume I can't be blamed for that though, because it's not really my fault they didn't read the instructions. So yeah, I guess we are kind of good to go. The song requests will be live for the duration of the tier list, and after that I'll disable them once we get the roles. Alright. Cool. Also for this stream, well, at least the tier list parts, as you see top left, I am disabling alerts because, every time I post a tier list on YouTube, people were moldy as fuck when there's like constant alerts. So for at least for the duration of the tier list, alerts will be disabled because, again, this will be uploaded to YouTube as well. Not today though. Today I will upload the Okita stuff, but probably like maybe 2-3 days later I'm gonna upload the tier list as well. So, keep that in mind. I might bring back the alerts for the gacha or something. But at least for the duration of the tier list, I'll have them disabled. Cool. Oh boy, we're gonna start very soon here, I think. There's already a bunch of people in the chat, I think. I do see some subs still in chat, so hey, Neku, thank you for the 5 months still. Very, very cool, man. Welcome back to the Gale Gang. Hey, Pure Sona, how you doing, man? I think there's a lot of people here today, huh? Yeah, wow, we already got a bunch of people. We were just starting. I guess, both the list and the gacha might be tempting to a lot of people, so yeah. Should be interesting. Cool. Hey, Glitchy, thanks for the brand new Prime as well. Welcome to the Gale Gang, my dude. Very cool. Yeah, this will include JP command codes as well. This includes every single command code released up to this day. These are the Gouda 6 ones as well, so it's up to date. Oh yeah, and shout out to Copy for making the list. He actually had made a command code tier list ages ago. He just needed to add a few new ones that were missing at the time. I think it was like 6 missing or something like that, so he updated it, and yeah, we're good to go. So shout out to Copy for being very helpful again. This list will definitely be used for 12 players. Yeah, I think it will. No pun intended. But yeah, again, some people left me comments when I said I was going to do this that it's kind of silly to do a tier list on command codes. And yes, I agree. Like, the whole point of this is just me talking about the command codes. Not so much the ranking itself probably won't be the main focus here, unlike like gameplay tier lists. So I just figured it was going to be fun to place them anyway. I will have criteria for the ranking as well, but it's mostly just me talking about them. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be helpful regardless. Alright. Let me go through my notes and then I think we will start. Let's see. I did write down some criteria as well, which may not always be the most consistent thing, but yeah. Cool. I have a bunch of notes for the actual CC ranking as well. Cool. Yeah, I think we should be fine. We're just about to start now, Sleazy, yeah. So I guess you're just in time then. Alright, so quick recap for YouTube, I guess, as to how this is gonna work in case you saw the title. Yes, this is a command code tier list. Although, yeah, it is a tier list, but it's mostly for the sake of me just talking about the CCs themselves. The ranking is kind of silly maybe for something like this, but I thought it's always fun to rank them anyway. And will list my criteria in a second, but keep in mind, this is just, like, this is basically guidelines. Don't ever take any of this too seriously, as is with all tier lists and whatnot. Shout out to clicking on this video, though. Like, shout out to everyone watching. Shout out to everyone live on the stream as well, of course. And as per usual feedback, my alerts for the stream have been disabled for the duration of this, so maybe that's going to make the video experience a bit better as well. I might thank some subs here and there if I see them in chat, but besides that, you won't be hearing alerts on this screen or whatever. So yeah, this is the CC tier list. It has every CC command or AK command code to this day. And today is, for reference, today is November 25, 2021. So yeah, it includes everything up to Gura Gura 6. So I will be covering JP ones as well. Mostly because I don't expect this to be like a 6-hour video like servant rankings tend to be. So if anything, I'm guessing less than 2 hours. Still gonna be pretty hefty. I'm not gonna edit this in any way. So what you see is what you get. There might be some slight mishaps here and there. Again, you just gotta get this raw. Don't take that the wrong way. But yeah. So right now I'm gonna briefly list my criteria. So for the ranking, I'm going to rate them or rank them based on 1, how useful they are, 2, how often they have uses, 3, how strong the actual effects of the command code are, and 4, how good they are compared to other command codes of similar effects, because there will be many repeat effects, and even the numbers will be varying quite a bit based on their rarity as well. So all of that said, that's basically the criteria in a nutshell. There may be some exceptions here and there, but yeah. And also the in case you're wondering what the order is, because it looks to be kind of all over the place, which it kind of is, the order will be based on the ID, aka when the stuff was added into the game. So it will not be like 1 stars first, 2 stars, then 3 stars. No. Although I guess 1 and 2 stars will be completed at the start, because there hasn't been any more after these. But yeah, the rarities will be jumping all over the place from 3 to 5 stars afterwards. So that's the order for the command codes. Hey Nolly, thanks for the 7 months, man. Welcome back to the Go Gang. So yeah, I think we're good to go then. Again, I have some notes written down, but I'm mostly just gonna wing it, so don't expect this to be like super professional or anything. Also, I will take chat's inputs here and there as well if needed. And if they have some more insight, I'm, might as well add some like servants that could use a code or whatever. So it's always good to hear more opinions as well. So we're gonna start. Most of these I won't be talking too much about them. So we're gonna start with the 1 stars, obviously, because they're the first IDs. The first one being the mortal one that increases damage against humans. Now, a common misconception in the community is that people think the human trait is the same as humanoid, which is not the case. Humanoid trait is very common. Basically, every servant -2, as far as I know, are considered humanoids, for instance, along with many enemies. And yes, this sucks for Sandston as well. I really wish they changed it. Humans are very different. Most servants, like 99% of servants, are not considered humans. So even that already diminishes the value a lot. So I also have a trait list here. So if we take a look at this, if I can find it here. These are mostly what you're going to be fighting. So like the only exceptions for servants we have are these 3 as far as I know. And even then it's only for story battles, not when they're like, you're fighting them in events or anything. So a very limited pool. So yeah, some of these effects will be more useful than others. And I think human is just going to be, is not going to really, like, it's a 1-star effect. The number is very weak to begin with. And it's really not a great anti-trait. So it's just going to be an easy E tier. A lot of these are going to be like very low rated. So yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention, I don't have plus tiers right now between stuff, but if needed, I might add some, but right now we just have the basic from E to EX, so we'll go with that for now. Alright, next command code is the Brute one, increases damage against beast enemies. Now again, maybe a misconception here. This does not mean the beast class, the threat to humanity stuff, basically. This means like wild animals. Let's see, again, I believe they are here. I believe it's the same thing as this, but this is what it refers to, even though it's written as wild beast here. So yes, this does not mean the beast class, which would actually give it some kind of a use. But as is, I think it's the same case, because, it's mostly just going to be fodder damage against fodder. There have been some challenge quests, like one of the summer one that had only the big giant boars, and maybe there you could have used this. Although, to be honest, this command code didn't even exist at the time. So, yeah, because I don't really remember a lot of examples where you would ever want to use this, to be honest. Thanks for the 19 months, Rose, as well. So, I mean, sure, you can still attach it to servants that have beast damage, like Super Orion or Ku Proto, if you want to, but I would still say both of those servants have way better options, and you can just ignore this one as well. Luckily, you won't hear what I'm listening to on YouTube right now, because some of these song requests are pretty wacky. There's going to be some chill music on the background instead when this is a video. So next one is gonna be Corpse. Damage against Undead. Again, I don't think Undead is also a great trait to have a bonus damage against, because again, most servants, if not just every servant in the game, they're not considered undead. It's only like fodder enemies again. So I already made my point pretty much clear here. Yeah, some servants have undead damage bonus like Grey and whatnot. You could give it to them if you wanted to, but again, they just have way better options. Just undead, not great. Not great. Now we got actually something that is useful. Demonic. Now many servants actually have the demonic trait in addition to lots of the fodder enemies as well. So this is the full list of demonic servants. You can see it's not a small number, right? So that's already something. This is already better. But even then, like, even though it's more useful, I still feel like on a 5% modifiers for the 1 stars, I still feel like you just probably wouldn't use these at all. And some of these will have higher variants as well with some other effects on too. So even as like placeholders, I really feel like these don't really do much. It could be like an E+ tier. I'm just gonna add one just because I feel like they have more use than those two, but still, like, I just feel like they're not going to be a whole lot useful anyway. So I'm going to place this in E+. Basically the same as the anti-divine one. Both of them useful anti-traits, definitely. Some of the more common traits in the game to fight against, especially divine. But with those numbers, they're just not going to be like... just maybe acceptable as a placeholder. Besides that, I really don't see myself ever using any of the 1-star command codes. So that's it for them. Now we get 2 stars. Again, it's based on ID, so we're gonna go through 1 and 2 star, then a mix of like all the rarities. So the first one is this one, the Blessed one, that heals for 100 HP when you attack, right? There's a lot of CCs that give you healing when you use them. So, and this is the weakest one, obviously. Healing is also not one of the strongest mechanics, defensive mechanics out there. It's one of the weakest, in fact, in my opinion. It's not the most reliable thing out there. In a lot of comps, you do want some healing, but usually the servants alone can kind of cover you. So I feel like this is just way too weak to be considered really using. Again, because there's so many other healing CCs as well. And even then, I don't think there really is a scenario where you would want, like, let's say, 5 healing CCs on your entire deck. Because even for solos, there's way better options out there. Especially even on NA, once we get the update, where you can kind of move around stuff freely. So yeah, I'm going to place this on E+, I think. Because it's a placeholder, if anything. It's not garbage. But, yeah. It's not a whole lot better than like these that are kind of unusable. Glitter. Now this is an interesting one. This in particular. Most of these low star ones are pretty bad. This is not terrible. Biggest reason is because remember when I said a lot of effects will be repeat on every single rarity, right? Not the case with star generation, actually, for some reason. I checked all of these, and unless I missed something, the highest star generation you can have on a command code is the 3-star one that we'll cover soon, that gives you 30%. So this is not that bad in comparison to the highest one. I'm still not sure why there's not a single 4 or 5-star CC that increases generation. Like, I'm pretty sure I checked it. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Like, that alone makes this better because the competition is not massive. So this is not a terrible CC at all. even as a 2-star. So based on that, I would probably place this on like D. I'm not, C might be a bit too high. Maybe it's like a D plus. For now, I think I'll place it on D. I think this is a usable one, definitely. Maybe a C, honestly. It's really hard because, again, I might shift these around at the end again. You know, it's always, if you want to see the full picture, check the end, because, you know, stuff might get moved around at the end. But maybe I'll actually place it on C, because, again, because of this one mostly gains points because the competition is barely existing. So there you go. Very usable CC. For a lot of, like, mostly you're gonna use star generation CCs on the quick cards of assassins. That's mostly the use. I really wouldn't recommend putting star generation on anyone else besides like quick cards of assassins. I'll keep it in C for now. We might bump it down depending on what else we feel on C later. And then we got this one, Burst. So crit damage 3%. Now, unlike this one sucks because there's like 3, 4, 5 stars. There's so many crit damage ones, and this is such a small number in comparison. This is just very bad. God damn it. I totally should have disabled that as well. Well, brief intermission, I'm gonna disable that one as well. Thank you, Winter, for reminding me to disable that one as well. God damn it, okay. Again, none of this will be cut, so god damn it. There's so much stuff I need to prep for stuff like this. Alright, moving on. Cool. So yeah, this one sucks in comparison. This one has a lot of competition, and this is the worst of the bunch. I want to place it in E, because there's so many crit damage ones. I really like, even if you want 5 crit damage CCs on a Servant, unless you want those on multiple Servants, you don't even have to use this one to fill the entire deck. It's just... I'm just gonna, because I don't think it's even a good placeholder. It's so insignificant. So I'm just gonna place it here. Don't use the CC. Use the other crit ones. There's so many. And then Star Absorb. While Star Absorb also has a lot of competition, is not as atrocious as this one is in comparison. But even then, I'm gonna place this in E+. It's a placeholder. It's not garbage. It's a placeholder. You can use it, but it's not going to be that good because there's still a good amount of other Star Absorb CEs, or CCs rather. Maybe a D, arguably. But even the difference to a 3-star one was pretty big from what I remember. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to place it on E+ for now. Right, and then the final one of the 2 stars, which is not bad at all. This one, it doesn't remove any debuff, any one debuff. It removes only a dot, but it's not useless. It has some uses. For instance, I think a lot of people know about this. For instance, you know the famous Herc solo, right, with the Bond C. One thing that can really mess you over is if you get a dot that's like 500 damage or more, because that's just gonna keep taking away your guts when you don't want them to. So that's a very useful use for this C, for instance. Now, you could use a different CC as well that, like, removes any debuff. But this one already does the job as well. And even outside that, it's not terrible. You're probably not going to put this on a DPS if I had to guess. Like, I probably wouldn't. You could maybe put it on a support, especially if a challenge quest has, like, a lot of dots in it. There's certainly been a lot of those. So, because again, once we can move them around more freely... stuff like this becomes more flexible, basically. I think it's at least a C. I could maybe see it being a B, or maybe like a C+. Oh yeah, that's good to mention, y'all. Yeah, another good use for it is many servants, well, not many, but some servants have demerits where they put dots on them, like y'all mentioned Fran, right? She puts a burn on herself. Babbage does the same thing. So, Maonobu, for instance, and her burn happens to be pretty significant as well. Definitely many like that, so that's another use for it. Man. Again, I should have mentioned this at the start, but I'm not gonna only consider the best case scenario for C. Like, let's say you have an anti-divine CC, that's the highest number. I'm not gonna place it on EX, like, based on you're only gonna use it versus divine. Like, I still want the niches to be somewhat, you know, common. Like, that's the reason why I don't place, let's say, Welfare BB on EX tier, my 4-star lists. Because obviously she's amazing against Avengers, right? Really, really good. But how often do you really fight Avengers, right? So that's the reason I can't really only consider the best case scenario for these. It has to still be somewhat of a common use still for me to consider them to be very good. Yeah, the concert U fight is this is very useful there as well. I'm gonna leave it at C for now because there are other buff removal or debuff removal stuff as well. But for now, I'll leave it at C. Not a bad CC at all. All right, Lucky Beast, the first of the 3 stars. It's already twice as better as this one. Heals 200 when attacking. Now I forgot what I think it's definitely not the highest healing, and it's only healing. I forgot how the healing scales on the entire thing, but yeah, I would say in the grand scheme of things, it's only a heal, and even then 200, it's like, is it really ever gonna make a major difference? Probably not. It's definitely usable. Good fodder, I would say, absolutely good fodder. But yeah, I agree with D. It's an okay command code, good fodder. Basically anyone can use it, but the effect is so minimal, it's not gonna have a major difference. Just because of how versatile it is, I'll leave it in D. And it's a 3-star effect, so the number isn't garbage. So I think that's fair. Now, remember when I was talking about the Star Generation one? What you see right now is actually still to this day the best Star Generation CC in the game. I'm not shitting you. This was the day 1 release, as far as I remember, with the command codes. It's still the best one. It's a 3. There is no 4-star one. There is no 5-star one with Star Generation. This is the best one at 30%. And this one is not bad. I actually, for instance, I used this on my Gramps Lee, who only, even though he's an assassin, he only has 1 quick card. But because he's an assassin, his Star Generation number is very nice, and his 1 quick card has a very good amount of hits as well. So this is another very solid use for something like that. Again, mostly for assassins, quick cards, I feel like. Not a whole lot of use for other stuff, but this one is basically the best of the bunch. But even then, I'm not gonna place it super high. It's like a B or a C, I feel like. Maybe B, just because it's the best of the Star Generation ones. I can't really put it higher than B though. But for now, unless I'm still confused why they haven't added more. Maybe they realize they can't make anything higher or make a Star Absorb one or get generation higher than 30%. But yeah, it's the best at its job, and it's not a terrible effect. So I feel like B is pretty fair. Oh yeah, it's obviously not only usable for Assassin Speed, but I feel like the best use you'll find on an Assassin's quick card. Maybe even on a Buster, like Kiritsugu's Buster. You could put that on Kiritsugu's Buster as well, for instance. Alright, first 4-star is the Armament of Triumph. It's 100% Star Absorb. It's not the highest number there is. As far as I remember, I think 150 is the highest. But what's good about this CC is that, like, unlike the many of the other ones that have Absorb, this one is not limited to a card. Although when you think about it, it's attached to a card of your choice anyway. So even if some of them are niche, it really doesn't matter. So the flexibility really doesn't have that much bonus here when you think about it. But having said that, this is still a great CC. Very great. Very, very great. Obviously, mostly going to be used in arts cards. Especially, like, I think a very great example is, well, there's a better CC for that as well. That's an arts and even higher. But just the effect-wise, like, you know, have, like, someone like a Reshkigel, right? Who has 1 arts card, but man, that arts card is busted. If it crits, you're going to generate so much gauge. So for cases like that, you want the Absorb on the cards. You try to use it on Zergs. This is terrible for Zergs, man. I hate to say it. As far as I know, every Star Absorb in the game effect in the game, be it skill, MP, CC, or CE, they all scale off of your natural Absorb. So it's gonna be terrible for Zergs. It's not gonna help you at all. But having said that, thanks for reminding me. I should mention that Absorb ones are still good for any servant that's an archer, a foreigner, or best yet, a rider. Those are the 3 classes that have the highest natural absorb in the game. So even though they might not have the best synergy with crits or even the highest gains, just because of their natural absorb, it's already going to be a very good effect to have, because they're going to be having a much higher scaling of their absorption. So this one is at least a B, I think. Maybe an A. There's many absorb ones though, but this one is just a... I might put it an A just because how versatile it is. Like, you can kind of slap this on anyone. Best case used on those 3 classes I mentioned, or someone who has a really nutty arts card, or hell, you can even put this on like someone you just wanna, you know, loop better if you need face cards. It's probably because of the versatility. I feel like it's a fair A. Just a very great CC. Not bad at all. Use this on Hokusai. Yeah, for Hokusai instance, is very great. So, very good. Now, this one, I feel like there's going to be a lot of different opinions about this. The first 5-star one, titled First Servant. It's a one-time damage cut for 1 turn for 300. I feel like this is a very niche one. I think the most use you're going to have this is for some solos. It would be a lot better if it was like, let's say, 5 or 10% defense up. Because you know how damage cut works, right? This is not gonna... You get MP'd, you still die. This is not gonna do anything against that MP, for instance. It's only gonna mitigate some damage you get from enemy face cards. 300 as well on a damage cut is not a whole lot. The best damage cuts go from like skills, for instance, go from like 1,000 to 2,000, which will actually have an effect. Those will really mitigate damage you get from face cards. But this, you can consider it as an effect on top, yes. And it's not bad at all. But it's very niche. I feel like outside of solos, it just doesn't really have a good spot compared to other options you would have for CCs, for a normal team, basically. So I think this is mainly for solos, and even then, it's not... I wouldn't say it's an EX tier for solo, maybe. Could be, but I'm gonna place this on maybe B or C. Like, it's still a nice defensive effect, but... mostly only for solos. Well, maybe I might agree with chat here for C, because again, it's not that useful for... Oh yeah, one thing I should mention, not just for solo actually, it's also very decent for taunters. Taunters can make use of this, although of course you still have card RNG, because, you know, when you taunt you might not necessarily have this command card on that particular turn. That's why, you know, it's better on solo. But I should mention that it is still good value for your taunters. Helps mitigate that damage. But even then, maybe we'll just keep it at C. This might be one of the weakest of the 5-star command codes in terms of usability. Still not terrible though. Not at all. Yeah, you can absolutely put it for Mashu. I mean, it's very good for her. Usually they tend to be good for the characters that appear on the CCs. I wonder why. Alright, next one. Keep it going here. Already, like, you can see how bad the 2-star crit damage one was, because even the base 3-star one that goes on any card, works against anything, is already 10%. So again, super versatile. Not the highest number out there, but it has no, like, card restriction, no, like, only against dragons restriction, which will be actually happening soon. So, it's super versatile. But because there's so many crit damage ones, I feel like I'm still not going to place it that high, obviously. And most notably, much like with absorb effects, best case uses are servants that already have good crit synergy with their kits, or even better, crit synergy and they're of the class archer, foreigner, rider. Those are the best case uses, I feel like, for crit damage stuff. So yeah, I feel like this is just a good one. It's a C. It's a good one. It's not amazing. It's good. It's not... Yeah, it's just a good CC, you know? Nothing world-breaking, but it's a good CC. Now, another 4-star. We get the God-Binding Chains. Damage bonus against Divine. Again, you can see, like, I believe these were 5%, so it's already triple. I mean, it's a 4-star compared to a 1-star. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Again, Divine happens to be one of those traits that is one of the more common ones on enemies. Maybe top 3 most common, like, niche traits, I would say. I wouldn't count really like genders niche, which will appear here as well, but yeah, it's still pretty common, I would say. A lot of bosses tend to be divine, and this is obviously against bosses. I mean, none of this, like most of these command codes won't be relevant for farming anyway, so yeah, it should be pretty obvious here. It's not the highest of the divine ones at 4-star, but it's super versatile, not a terribly niche effect. I agree with Chad, it's a B one. It's definitely a B one, even at these numbers. Just a very solid CC. Oh yeah, another good use for these is if you have a servant that already has anti-divine niche, like Enkidu, Karna, Napoleon, many others that I'm forgetting. But anyway, yeah, there's many anti-divine gimmicks, so certainly probably the best case scenario for those. But you can still use it on anyone, basically, if you're fighting divine, especially once we get the freedom to just move around stuff easier. Very good one to have. Now this one, the 5-star Gilgamesh one, increases damage against all servants that don't have the EA weakness, which, in case you were wondering, is like less than 10% of servants have that. So against like 90% servants, this is just a flat out 20% damage increase. Is big, especially if you land like a fat buster crit with this. Again, I have this on my Gramps Lee again as an example on one of his 2 busters. The buster with this one on hits considerably harder against servants just because of this CC. It's not niche at all, even though it is niche. It's very common to have this work, so I don't think it's even an argument to place this on EX. It's just still to this day, for damage, one of the best, if not the best damaging CC out there. It's just very, very strong. Cool. And again, even if you don't crit, you still get the damage bonus, which is something to know, because like for the crit ones, you still need to crit for it to do anything, right? For the crit damage side, this one increases your damage just flat out. Obviously you still prefer to crit with this, but yeah, it's just very good. Now White Vessel, now this one is just a better version of the Cure one, right? Yeah, Cure. This one removes any 1 debuff, not just dots, so this is great. I don't remember how many of these there are. If they're not, I don't think there's that many at all. Was there any other one that removes any debuff from you? There was many that remove a specific type of debuff later. Was there other ones? It's the only one. Okay, so it is the only one that removes any debuff. Any 1 debuff. That's kind of crazy. Again, some of these 3 stars are kind of nuts when you think about it. Thanks for the 27 months, Sonic. I feel like this could be EX, honestly. Just because it's insanely versatile. And again, these are mostly going to be against... This is not farm stuff. And there's going to be a lot of debuffs in like every challenge quests. It's so versatile. Supports, DPS, solo. You can use it on anything. And some debuffs are really nasty, like you get a skill sealed, MP sealed, a massive dot. It works on everything. That's not unremovable, so yeah. You can, I mean, you will know which one it removes, Bukino, though. You can't choose the debuff, but the way, if you have an effect that says remove 1 debuff, the way it works is that it removes the latest one, always. So you can kind of at least know what it's going to remove. It always goes in the order of that. In case people didn't know, by the way. Maybe some people learned something new as well here. So yeah, if you have remove 1, it's the same for buffs as well. If you have buff removal, it always removes the latest one. So there you go. I would say borderline A maybe, but just because it's the only one that removes any debuff that's unremovable in the game. If there was another one, it would probably be here. But right now, this day, November 2021, I'll leave it at EX, I think. It's just so good. Nice, very nice to have. Now, critical damage against dragon enemies on this one, this 4-star one, 25%. Number is very nice, I'm not gonna lie. And dragon isn't the most niche thing out there. Many servants, let's see, I still have this open. Many servants also do have the dragon traits. Yeah, I mean, most notably, yeah, if you really hate Arturia, you're gonna love this. But yeah, some others too. So it's not very super niche at all. Lots of dragon enemies as well. And it's not limited to a card type either. So it's not, I think it's better than what people might think it is actually. And obviously the best case scenario, again, servants that have high natural absorb, have crit synergy, or better yet, all of those, and also anti-dragon damage. For instance, Sigurd, this would be great on him. Sumanai. Sitonai doesn't have bonus damage, but she does have dragon synergy elsewhere, and probably some others too. So, and also anti-Arturia servants, because again, every Arturia minus Castoria, right, if I remember correctly, has the dragon trait. So I feel like it's not that bad at all of a niche. It's pretty good, I would say. Pretty good. It's better than what it seems, I'll tell you that much. This one is at least a B. Maybe a B, though. The number is good, though, because it's niche. It could be an A, maybe. But I might leave it at B for now. It's not bad at all, though. Pretty versatile, I would say. Remember George? Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I guess, I mean, sure, it works really well with George as well when you turn your enemies into dragons, so there you go. Right, so this is very similar. It's a 5-star one, but instead of crit damage, it is all damage against dragons by 20%. Which, honestly, you would prefer all damage versus just crits. But, yeah, again, same scenario, not bad at all. I feel like this is just a very easy A rank CC. Not EX, because I still feel like the niche is not common enough for me to consider it an EX tier. But for its niche, it's really, like, it's top tier. It's like a top tier. It's like the toppest of the dragon tiers, right? So I think this is a very fair ranking. It's a great CC. Right, and now we have a very specific one. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the only one that ignores evasion. And then there's also one that ignores invul pierce, or invulnerability, that acts as invul pierce. I think there's only one of each, right? So that's something to consider. But even then, like let's be real. If there's a fight that has a lots of evasion, so you might need to bring it. Here's what you're gonna do. You're either gonna bring a CE with invul pierce or sure hits, or you're gonna bring a servant that has that, or both. I feel like it's not gonna be that useful. There is one case where I saw a really cool use for this though. It was the case files challenge quest, and someone did a TA, aka time attack on it, minimum turns on Rhinus, and because she doesn't have invul pierce, she needed to land one massive crit with her buster to finish the guy, and this command code was used. But again, it was just funny, if anything. So yeah, it's not that good as it seems, maybe, because there's so many ways to get in. Again, even for evasion is even worse than ignore evasion is even worse than invul pierce, because invul pierce works for both. Evasion only works for, or sure hit only works for evasion. It's not bad, but I feel like it's here. Maybe even E+. Maybe barely a D, but not that good. Way less useful than it seems. Alright, then we get some of the... Now these ones start happening as well. So, remove 1 defense up buff from an enemy when you attack. So it's just that. No other effect. Remove 1 defense up. Now, as far as I know, this only matters for, defense up percentage. This does not remove damage cut. This does not remove special, resistance. You never can remove those anyway, but... Yeah, this is only for the percent defense ups. It's definitely not the only one. There's many of these, I feel like, and some of them also offer bonus effects. But mostly you're going to be using this on your supports, I feel like. A lot of these will be, best on supports. I'm not sure if I would ever use this on a DPS. Maybe if you're doing, a cool solo and you need to deal with some defense ups. Mostly just going to be for supports. But it's not a terrible one. It's more of an, there's many options here. You're going to have more defensive ones and more offensive ones for supports. And this is definitely more on the offensive side, obviously, because it's a buff removal one. It's not bad, though. I think it's at least a C. I forgot how many other ones there were that remove a defense up, that do other stuff as well. So I'm not sure if I can place it on B. So maybe I'll start with a C. Because I think there's at least a few others that do the same, but do more as well. Still very usable, though. Right, now this one I feel like a lot of people think this is really good, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty bad. So what this is basically bonus, like big divinity for one card. It's bonus damage. It's not that good. It's not really gonna, like, you would, like, instead, even like 5% crit damage is gonna be way, like a 2-star command code for a crit damage, it's gonna be better than this, I feel like. This one looks good, but it's not that good. It's the same with every, like, bonus damage effect in the game, basically. This one might be one of the worst 4-star CCs in the game, actually. There's, like, some niche, super niche cases where you could use this, like, you know, remember that crab CQ from Summer 2 rerun or something? Where they had, like, massive defense where you either had to use bonus damage like this or dots to kill them mostly. But those are very, very, very rare, so yeah. Obviously, it's going to be better for low stars, I feel like, because their cards are not going to be hitting that hard anyway. But for like an SSR, this doesn't really do much at all. It just doesn't do a whole lot. It's like a very small addition to one card. I'm going to place this in D, just because it's, you know, it's still decent fodder, but fodder is all it is, basically. It's just, I think it's like I don't want to use the word trap because I find it cringy on stuff like this, but it's definitely worse than what it seems, for sure. Now, oh my god, I think this is still one of the best command codes in the entire game. Aurora Knights, or Holy Knights Aurora Borealis, amazing. It's the best star gain CC in the game. It's a 5-star one, it's the only effect. It's amazing. This one, you can basically use on anyone you want. I mean, mostly probably going to be used on supports, but it's just that amazing. Like, honestly, this could be maybe even like an EX+. Unless, this could even be the best CC in the game, for all I remember. I guess we'll see at the end. Like, this is an amazing CC. 4 stars is insane. It's just insane on, like, just to get from a card use. It's really good. Really, really good. And it's super flexible. It has to be like top 3 CC in the entire game, even after all these years. There's not much else for me to say about it. Just god tier. Alright, this one. Okay, here we got the first of the dots. So, Curse, 500 damage 3 turns, and that's it. Now, I will be ranking burns a bit higher. I'm sure you'll know why. I'll even show it when I get to that point. But Curse and Poison ones will not be as good. As Curse is actually the worst of the bunch. Because at least Poison has some synergy. You might know who I'm talking about. But Curse doesn't really have synergy. Every dot still works for someone like Arjuna Alter though. Because he just needs a debuff, right? Whatever it is. It could be a dot as well. But outside of that, Curse, like the only other thing you could do maybe is like Mochizuki memes. Stab up curses on. I made a video about that as well. It was a funny meme, but again, it's not really realistic, I would say. It could have some use for Van Gogh, and also to enable Jacques to get damage on her MP. But I think outside of that, that's like all the use you're gonna have for this, because the damage is basically irrelevant. The turns is the only thing that matters, and what the dot is. The damage is always gonna be irrelevant. Is never gonna really be a thing, unless they change the way dots work someday. But because it has at least a couple of good uses, I'm gonna place it in... It could be D, but I'm gonna place it in E+. Maybe D. Because again, you want to enable Jacques' MP to have bonus damage, really increases the damage, and Van Gogh, you know, you want those curses absorb and shit, so... It's like a D-, if it's like a low D, but that's like all the use you're gonna get for it. So very, very specific on this one. I can't place it higher than this. Not at all. Now, this one is a really cool one. As far as I know, this is the only CC with this effect. So it calls it immobilized, but it's basically it's stun in a different word. So it's a one-time stun immune for 2 turns. Not even 1 turn, it's 2 turns, which makes it even more flexible. Now, best case uses for this CC is servants that have self-stun demerits. Most notably stuff like Fran with that really, really brutal 2-turn stun. Other notable cases include... Okita Summer. What else do we got? It's always hard to remember all these from the top of my head. Tammy Cat, yes, but less so nowadays because she has kind of a way to combat that in her own kit. But yeah, it's still nice to have more options, I would say. And yeah, all the bad versions of Goddess Metamorphosis that have a stun instead of HP demerits. So Tammy Lancer and I believe Ishtar Summer as well. So... And I guess if you haven't buffed your John, yeah, here's a great one for you. if there's someone like that out there. Yeah, it's not bad at all. And again, it's the only anti-stun CC in the game, right? So it will definitely give it more points. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Yeah, even Lip has ways to combat it herself, though. But yeah, for her, it's not bad either. I think it's an A. Kinda niche, but it's the only of its kind, and it definitely has many uses, so I think A is very fair. Great CC. Good anti-stun. Now, this is a cool one. Okay, this is a cool 5-star. So, you get 1 time, 2 turns of 50% healing received. Not done, received. Keep that in mind. It's very different, okay? There's so many healing effects. This is how much healing the target or the guy who uses this card gets 1 time or 2 turns, and then it expires. So I feel like this is mostly gonna be a solo thing, but even then it has uses outside of solos as well. It is not a bad, it's actually a really good CC, and this has a really cool combo as well. You'll probably see it, you might know it already with another 5-star CC you see later, but even on its own, even if you don't do the combo, which I assume a lot of people will do the combo, it's great. It's just great. Any servant with a considerable self-heal, yeah, it's great. Like, I think most notably things that come into my mind is like Kiara, especially after her MP buff, when her MP was, is it like 3,000 or 4,000 on base OC healing, which is insane. So... yeah, for something like that. I mean, people mention Enkidu as well, but I feel like Enkidu already heals enough. But yeah, absolutely. You're gonna heal like, what, 15k with this on max rank? Kind of nuts. That's gonna guarantee almost like a max HP. So, yeah. Yeah, that's something worth mentioning as well. Like Jack, who has her heal is pretty weak. Like, it's just a heal, and the number is massive, but it's a very short cooldown. So... for something like that, this also works, so definitely. And many other short cooldowns like Archuria and Void Shiki, very short cooldowns on their heals. I feel like this is... I want to place it in A. Do you guys think it's EX? It's probably the best healing one, so maybe it's EX. And it has a lot of uses, I feel like. It probably has to be EX. Even though I still think healing is not the best defensive effect, it's still very strong, like very, especially when you combo it with the other 5-star CC later. And even then, just really strong. Maybe one of the lower EXs, like White Vessel as well. I feel like these two are definitely above, but super strong. Super strong. Both solos and also works for some team stuff as well. Now, this one removes 1 attack up from enemy and you heal 100 HP. I almost said 100%. That would be insane. Best CC in the game. No. So, attack up is not the most lethal buff out there. Like, the stuff if an enemy has offensive buffs, the stuff you mainly worry about is crit chance increase, or maybe even crit damage. Crit chance is one of the worst, and so we will have some of those as well. But attack up usually isn't the end of the world. It's usually bad if you combo it. It's not super niche though because of it, because there's a lot of attack buffs in the game. And something I should mention with all these buff removal CCs is that sadly a lot of modern bosses have unremovable buffs. The buffs you can mostly remove from bosses are the ones that are on their own skills. Like, let's say you're fighting like a boss version of Arjuna, right? He probably has some unremovable stuff, but then he's going to use his first skill, which is attack up and the damage bonus against debuff target. So there you could absolutely remove this attack buff. So yeah, it's okay. It's a great support one, I would say, but not the greatest one out there. I would probably place it in like C. Just a solid support one, but nothing crazy. I feel like some other effects are going to be better, like a crit chance down, which we'll see later as well. So, yeah. Decent. Definitely decent. I think I have this on my Jinako right now as well, actually. Fun fact. Alright, Pigeon Report. Remove 1 crit damage up. Okay, I have to emphasize, in my opinion, this could be a heated topic. In my opinion, crit chance up is much worse for you on the enemy than crit damage. It's still nice to remove crit damage, but in my opinion, crit chance is better. But besides that, if you remove 1, you get that crit chance down as well for 3 turns. So it's like a good combo. It synergizes with itself, funnily enough. Yeah, this one always has it as well, but I think a lot of enemies also tend to only have crit chance up and not crit, because hardly ever is there like only crit damage. I think crit damage mainly exists with crit chance, but crit chance up can exist alone as well, pretty commonly. A lot of people were saying A, but I'm not sure if I can place this on A. It's great when it works, but I would prefer just to remove do a crit chance removal to begin with. Although it is a 3-turn debuff, which is, if you do land this can actually make a difference. Maybe a B, maybe like a higher B. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better support ones to have though. For like, I guess this is both offensive and defensive when you think about it. Yeah. So it's not that bad. I'll leave it at here for now. Well, let's keep going with this one. Okay, so first of the class niches. Crit damage against sabers. Not just, keep in mind, this is saber enemies, not just servants. So it's a bit more flexible. 25% crit damage against every saber in the game. Pretty good. Pretty damn good, right? And especially because it's saber, right? Because archers have that nice natural absorb, who you're mostly going to be used this on. Obviously, you can use this on, like, if you want to meme around MHX, MHX Alter. I'm probably forgetting some other stuff too. But yeah, mostly going to be used on archers. But hey, it's really, really good. Not the best of its kind as far as I remember, but super nice. Like, just really good damage one, yeah. I think it's an A. I don't think I can place it at EX though, but it's just really good. Really, really good. Just a very easy one to place. Alright, then we got the interesting healing one. So it's a 200 HP recovery, but it's for the entire party instead of just the servant that has this. I still think this is pretty weak, to be honest. I feel like it could have used another effect as well. It's cool, it's cute, but a 5-star CC, I mean, it's just a bit weak. It doesn't really do that much. Like, you compare it to like Aurora, that is a 4 stars. That's way more impactful than like 200 party healing. Way more impactful. It's definitely one of the weaker 5 stars, I think. Still, definitely good fodder, absolutely. Not terrible by any means. But probably like here. It's just an okay one, much like the Mashu one. So these 5 stars might be one of the worst ones in the game. But they're still fine. But I wish it was a bit better though. Alright, now we get some Gamba, because it's the BB slot one. So, when you use this card, when it's engraved too, you get one of these effects. You either get 5 stars, you heal yourself for 500, or you get a 1-turn 10% debuff resistance up. Honestly, I feel like obviously the stars one is probably the one you want the most. It's very nutty. Healing one isn't bad either, because it's 500. It's not bad. But the debuff resistance probably won't be making that much of a difference. Unless you have like a servant that already has a high base one. Let's say like Quetzalcoatl that has like 50% base, or Steno I also believe has one, and maybe some others too. Then it could be cool to make it even more consistent. But even if it's RNG, I feel like it's not that bad. There's going to be another RNG one later, which I absolutely hate. But this one is not terrible. It's actually okay results across the board, I would say. Obviously, you still, in 99% of the cases, you probably want the 5 stars, but a 33% chance ain't the worst. And the other effects are fine, so I feel like this is a B tier one. B for BB slots, get it? Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think this is on my Jinako as well, actually. Alright, now this is like a really interesting case. It's very odd. Okay, so first of all, you remove one debuff immune buff from the enemy, which is really a niche thing, a very niche thing. And then you also get crit. Luckily, you don't have to remove this to get this. You always get this anyway, which is crit damage against enemies, not just servants, all enemies with the good alignments. So that's an interesting thing, huh? Very interesting. It's an okay one, I feel like, but the first effect is pretty rare. But good alignment is not the most rare thing out there, obviously. So it's still fine, I feel like. It's still fine, definitely. Just the first one is a bit awkward. Like, usually when a boss has a debuff immune, it's usually unremovable anyway, right? Yeah, I was gonna get to that, y'all, when we get the Kiara one. I'm gonna mention that. Is there anyone with increased damage against good alignment? There's Salome, and then I think there was someone else. Correct. Fuck, let me look at my notes. Maybe I wrote this down. I hope I did. Salome has anti-good, and I can't see my notes. Etchan has one. Was it the foreigner Etchan, right? Or was it? No, it was just Berserker, right? Yeah, they after the buff. Yeah. It's Berserker. Yeah. Okay. So something for those, maybe. Although, to be honest, for Salome, this sucks. Maybe for Etchan, because she has some crit potential, but Salome really has, like, 0 crit potential. So I would still not put this on Salome at all. Anyway, I feel like this is like a B. It's not the most niche thing out there for the crit damage. The first one is a bit but it's still fine. It's still pretty good. Yep. Not bad. Alright, another dot. We got first of the poison ones. I mean, again, the damage is irrelevant, even though it's higher here. And then this one even comes with the demerit of 100 damage to yourself. Okay, let me first remind myself, what were the other poison ones? Okay, that's already better. That's probably the best one, maybe. Yeah, so there's 3 poison ones. This is probably the worst one of the poison ones. Yeah, this has to be the worst of the ones. I mean, obviously, stuff you want to mention is Robin, obviously, because, you know, his MP scales off of, or the bonus modifier scales off poison on the enemy. And then other stuff you could mention, if you care, Serenity, Shuten. Not a whole lot to go on with poison, though. Not a whole lot. Pretty bad, I would say. Pretty bad. Maybe even more niche than the curse one, to be honest. Yeah, honestly, when earlier I said curse might be the worst. Honestly, I think poison is the worst. Yeah, I think poison is the worst. It still has use, but man, it's rare. Well, I placed this one here. Honestly, because this is the worst of the poison ones, I'm gonna place it here. The others might be like here, or maybe even here, but the worst one has to be here, because it's not the only option you have. Although sometimes you might want all 3 of them if you want to meme around, but for a serious thing, you might not want 3 of them on one servant. So yeah, I'm gonna place it here. Now, this is an interesting one. I like the fact that it gives stars. There's many of these that give stars, so that's good. 2 stars when attacking. And then another thing is that you get crit damage against enemies that are charmed. So that's an interesting one. Obviously, you want this on a DPS because of the second effect. You could still, like, if you could absolutely attach this to a support just for the stars. If you want, like, a support with, like, 5 command codes that all give stars. It's a cute idea, I suppose, but besides that, you want this on a DPS, but even then, you would prefer a DPS that can actually charm themselves, unless you're gonna run supports that charm, like, let's say you were that one guy who's gonna run Matahari support, then maybe it doesn't matter who your DPS is, but, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, true, it is not crit damage only, it's all damage, my bad. Yeah, so it's a bit better than, because of that, yeah, true. All damage, better than crit damage. So yeah, I feel like mostly gonna be used on, I guess, Parvati, Kama, Summer Kama, right? Anyone else that comes to mind? Probably not. Tambi Lancer, yeah, not a bad idea, honestly. So, the stars are good. The other effect, kind of niche, but I still think it's fine. Still pretty fine. Even for just the stars alone, it's not bad at all, so. And because it's all damage against charm, so, yeah. Yeah, I guess you could even do the, charm meme lock team, like, right? Even there you could maybe use this. Yeah, Shuten as well has an AoE charm. Yeah, I think B is fair. All right, now this is the CC. Like, so this is an interesting thing. So this one was good alignment. This one is damage, not just crit. Again, all damage against lawful, and it's bonus damage against ruler. Now this is really cool because I actually checked when I was going over the CCs. Every single ruler in the game besides Sherlock and Himiko are actually lawful alignments. So that's really good. That's like really, really good. It's like really good synergy. Almost every rule in the game besides Sherlock and Himiko are lawful alignments. So obviously best case use should be on Berserkers and best case Avengers. So it's really good. And Kiara as well, obviously, because she has the ruler passive as well. So for those, it's really good. Yeah. But probably the best on Avengers. Oh yeah, Oberon as well, true. I think... Can I place this at EX? It's really good for what it does, though. But rulers are still kind of rare. But even then, at least the lawful, all damage against lawful still works against anyone who's lawful. Maybe I'll place it in A, just because of rulers being kind of rare. But it's a great one regardless. It's just a very great one for what it does. It's a bit too niche for me to place it at EX, though. Does Samakira have weakness against ruler? Oh, you mean like bonus against ruler? I believe she also has the same passive. Correct me if I'm wrong. At least the ruler part. All right, let's see. Crit damage on a Buster card, 15%. Cute. Again, honestly, you think this would be making it less like... I mean, it kind of makes it a bit more less flexible, but not really, right? Because you're gonna attach it to one card anyway, right? So... Where did I play? This one was the 10% crit damage on any card. I just feel like this is better. Even though you might think it's like worse, it's not, right? It's just better. It doesn't matter if it requires a specific card. It's still better, pretty much. The flexibility doesn't really matter too much here. So I feel like it's just a tier above. And Buster tends to be the card you want crit damage the most anyway, right? Because those are the, press red, enemy equals dead. So, especially for Buster, I have to place it above the base 10%. So, there you go. Good CC, very good. Simple, effective, love it. Alright, so here we go again with the undead one. If I had to guess, this is probably the highest undead one, but yeah, if you remember me mentioning earlier, undead, not a single servant in the game, as far as I know, is considered undead, so that already makes bosses kind of relevant. Some mobs, yeah, but yeah, it's just, it's a bad anti-niche, I would say. Pretty bad. It's as far as I know, it's the best one. Let me actually check, just in case. Yeah, there's 10, there's 5, and then, yeah, it's the best one for undead. But it's a D, maybe a E+. I'll leave it a D just because it's the best anti-undead one. But undead is just not that good of a niche to have. Just weak. So, yeah. Could maybe even be E+, to be honest. That might be a bit harsh. One of the worst of the undead ones was here. But I'm going to place it here because I feel like I'm going to place the middle one here then. So, yeah, it's like a D-. There you go. Now, the Da Vinci-chan one. So, self-MP damage up 15% for one turn when attacking. Like, obviously, a good use for this is, normally you don't want to start with a face card, right? Before your MP, damaging MP. In this case, you would, right? Because 15% more MP damage, that's kind of nice. That is pretty nice. There's another variant of this later that's a bit more support-oriented, but this is definitely for the big dig DPS right here. And obviously, yeah, that's good to mention, Torak. Really good with the existence of Oberon as well, who has a special buff that makes MP damage up effects scale up. So that makes the CC a better as well. Yeah, honestly, I think this could be EX. Yeah, I think it might just be. I'm not sure if I'm going to place the other one at EX. I feel like this is a better version because, it's more targeted. But, it's just really good. It's either EX or A. I mean, if it was, 15% is kind of nice. You'd think it would be like 10% or something, right? The usage is a bit awkward, yes, but I feel like it's way more than worth it to the awkward use. Okay, let's leave it on A for now. Maybe like an A plus, you know? Maybe. You know what? Let me make an A plus here. Because I think it's a really good one. So let's see. I'll make one again. Some of these might not have pluses, but it is what it is. Alright, let's see. This is going to be A plus. This color. There you go. Pretty good. Very good. So, what is this one? Oh, the arts absorb one. So, we already had the 4-star one that is just 100% absorb on any card. This is the same, but an arts card. So I feel like this is just gonna be a C then, right? Oh wait, that was an A. Maybe, actually it's B then. It's B. Yeah, it's definitely B. But it's a tier below it just because it's a little bit less versatile. Although, I could maybe make a B plus here, because the difference isn't that massive, right? You know what? We're gonna make a B plus as well. Yeah. Alright. We're doing it. Again, I told you this was gonna be on the fly, unedited, so... Alright, this is B plus. Welcome to the gang. There you go. We got B plus now as well. It's only just slightly worse than this because of the versatility, but still a very strong CC. So there you go. I'm not gonna add D plus and C plus yet until we get some examples on those. Alright, next one. This one was the ignore invul one. Much like the sure hit one, it's way less useful than what it seems. It's better. Now we might get the plus one actually, because this was a this is a D plus. Because invul pierce is just a bit better than sure hit, so yeah, we're gonna get this one. Now we get the D plus as well. There you go. We got it. This color? There you go. So there you go. Just better than the sure hit one, but still not the most impactful CC out there. Some cute niche uses for like setups from, you know, time attack, but besides that, not a whole lot of use for it. Decent filler. Alright. Fix the colors. Are the colors messed up? I think they're fine. Is there something wrong with the colors? I think it's fine. Anyway, another 5-star one. Crit damage against Divine. 30%, which I believe is the highest crit damage you can have on a CC. It's not the only one, but it is the highest number. And yeah, that is pretty nice. That is pretty nice. I think this could be an A+. Because it's the max crit damage and Divine is not even super rare. It could be A+, I think. I'm not going to place it EX though. This is either A or A+. Just very strong. Maybe just because it's the best one for, like, highest crit damage number and the trait isn't super rare. A lot of bosses are divine after all. I think it's A+ worthy. I really think it's A+ worthy. A great CC. And again, you don't even have to use it on anti-divine servants already. You can kind of use it on a lot of others when we have that freedom to move shit around. So it's going to be one of those that you're going to be using a lot, needless to say. Because a lot of bosses are divine, like I keep saying. Right, so party crit damage up 5% one time, one turn. Correct me if I'm wrong, you have to use the crits on the same chain, right? It has to be the chain you get this on, right? So you have to like open with the support card basically, and then crit with your DPS or whatever on the same turn after that card. Yeah, it's really awkward. It would be a lot better if it was one time, two turns, but... Yeah, you have to, like, you're not going to use this on a DPS, basically, so you're going to have to open with a support card, which more often than not is an arts card, which already cuts down a lot of your damage, so... I mean, I guess, like, you would put this on a buster card if you are going to use it for a support, but... Yeah, it's just, the number is so small, and it's super awkward. It's like an E+, I would say. Barely like a placeholder, I would say. Yeah. You can put in a Buster Brave Chain, put in a starting card. I mean, if it was one turn instead of one time, one turn, yeah, maybe. But again, remember, what one time, one turn means is that it's immediately, the buff goes away when you crit once. So, it would be a lot better if it was like either a 2-turn here or just flat out one turn without the one time. But there's so many factors in here that just make it really awkward and kind of bad. Alright, this one. Remove MP damage from enemy, MP damage up, and if you are successful, they get arts res down, 10% 3 turns. Huge debuff, but man, this is not the easiest thing to do. This is not the easiest thing to do. You need to remove a MP damage up. The debuff is really nice, don't get me wrong. One of the best ones in the entire list here, but it's really hard to actually do that. So I feel like it's like a C or C. Is this the C plus? Maybe not a C plus. I think some others could deserve a C plus instead. Yeah, it's just a C, I think. I'm placing it on C instead of like lower just because of how good the debuff is if you actually land it. The debuff definitely, the potential, I'll give you some potential points, but I really can't place it higher than a C then. MP, how often? Yeah, you're right. Most MP damage ups are 1 turn. You know what? Yeah, it's a D plus. It's a D plus because a lot of the MP damage ups they're gonna use it on the turn anyway, and then it's already gonna fade away when your next turn starts. So man, you're gonna need someone who has like a multi-turn MP damage up as well. Yeah, D plus because of potential, but it's really hard to pull off. All right. Then we got the brush. When on arts card, 20% crit damage. Simple, effective, not bad. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so I placed the 15% buster one on B. Yeah, it's B. This is a B plus. It's a B plus. It's just easy as that, right? I think it's a B plus. Maybe an A, honestly. Maybe an A. Wait, how what's the highest arts crit one actually? I actually don't know which one is the highest. Wait. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's not absorb. It's crit damage. For some reason, I saw someone say like absorb or something. 20% is high. Honestly, you know what? Even though the difference between this and that is 5%, and you could maybe put this here as well because of that, and maybe I should, but you know, yeah. Honestly, A. Yeah. It's still a very favorable CC to have on an arts crit servant. Not niche at all on that on that topic. Move that 50% buster to B plus. I could. Should I move this to B as well then? No, 10% is... Okay, the difference between these are 5% and one is buster and one is everything. What do you guys think? Damn, that's the hard one actually. This becomes a little bit more complicated. Maybe it is B then, yeah. Because it's so easy to slap on anything. It's still gonna be fine. So yeah, we'll have 10%, 15%, 20%. That's fair. That's pretty fair, I would say. Because they are good Cs. Crit ones are pretty good. Now, oh my god. Did someone say Prisma Cosmos MLB? Yeah, Mages of Flowers. 10% MP gauge. 3-turn cooldown, but man, like, on solo it kind of sucks, but for like normal clears where your deck rotates on a 3-turn cycle anyway, I mean, sure, you could still get this card on like turn 3, and then again on turn 4, and then it doesn't work, but man, is this really amazing, huh? Like, it's an MLB 5-star effect, like, more or less every 3 turns. That's insane, and it's MP gauge. Like, it's really strong. This one has to be EX. It has to be EX. Like, there's not even an argument to be made. Top 3 CCs in the game, I'm pretty sure. Every supports Wet Dream, and also for those DPS that have really shitty gains, like let's say Shisho or Abigail, also really good for them as well. Game changer. Honestly, I kind of agree. This will have an impact. In some of my videos as well, I think, yeah, when I did the, I forgot what challenge quest it was, when I did the minimum turn Luvia kill, I actually needed this CC because her gains were not enough to loop. I needed the 10% from this on the first MP loop. So it actually can be a real game changer. And there you go. And absolutely, Jordanian. Even though, you know, you might think it's MP, like MP per turn. No, you can still slap this on any card. It doesn't have to be an arts card. Any card you want, it's gonna do the same thing. How amazing is that? Alright, I guess this list might be a bit longer than expected, but honestly, it is what it is. Wait, is this the next one? Wait a minute. Why is the sheep one here? I think... Honestly, I guess I'll do the order of the wiki then. It's not gonna matter too much. It's okay. All right, the sheep one. What's his name again? Dumuzid, right? something like that. So another dot removal, huh? This one is just better. Yeah, this is just better. So where did I place that one? It's on C. This is a C plus. There you go. There's the C plus. 100 healing isn't enough to put it on another tier. I'm just gonna add a C plus. And we actually ended up having all the pluses then. Yeah, as simple as that. Just a better version of this CC. I don't think we're live, are we? Is the sound dead? Is the sound dead?